Hey everyone, Georgetown Soaps here. I am making a double batch of lemongrass essential oil soap with oatmeal, and I use oats in it because they are slightly exfoliating. This is one of my best sellers. Customers always love this soap. I just love the smell of lemongrass essential oil. There's a lot of things you can blend with it, but I also just like it straight. And so I am doing a double mold. This one, I think it's about 103 ounces of soap batter. I'm going to get 30 bars of soap out of it. And I had a custom mold made for myself, and super excited to use it. Very easy to line. I can do a lining video later on, but molds are super easy to line. They take a little bit more effort than a silicone mold. Sometimes I kind of just am lazy and use my diamond and sapphire molds from BeScented because they're the 5-pound silicone ones and they're kind of easy, but definitely need to make bigger batches, and so using a wooden mold is the better option. So excuse me, got some allergies here. Did a lot of weeding last night. Bags and bags and bags of weeds. I don't know what it is about our backyard, but all of a sudden there's no weeds and 2 days later it's full of weeds. We live in a very wooded area, so I don't know if that's got anything to do with it. But so this is the double mold, and it takes a little bit longer to get to trace, obviously, because it's a little bit more soap. But I don't do anything special. Just kind of, I like to get this to full trace, just because you want the oats to be suspended into the batter so that they don't all sink to the bottom of the soap. You want the oats to just kind of evenly disperse throughout. And so it's just, there's no rhyme or reason. There's kind of no way to say, hey, stick blend for 3 minutes extra. You just kind of got to get a good feel for it. And the lemongrass essential oil does not accelerate. It doesn't cause trace. It doesn't cause anything to really go faster. So this one, you just kind of got to stick it out and stick blend a little bit longer, so that you can get the oats. And for the oats, don't use instant oatmeal. Use old-fashioned or slow cook, sometimes depends what they're called, because if you use the instant, they'll turn to mush in your soap. So if you use the regular or old-fashioned oats, they hold up better. And in terms of how much you add, you just kind of got to get a feel for it. I started out, I didn't use enough, then I used too much, then I used kind of figure out how many ounces work best for you and what you're trying to accomplish with the soap, just in terms of how exfoliating you want it to be. And again, by exfoliating, it's very lightly exfoliating, so it's not gonna scrub off your soap if you're gardening and your hands are dirty. It's gonna clean your hands, but it's not gonna kind of scrub off like a gardener soap would. So you can see I am still sitting here trying to get this to come to a much thicker trace. If I were just gonna, have a normal batch of soap, I wouldn't worry about how thick it was. I would just go ahead and pour it into the mold. But this, you definitely have to get it thick enough so that the oats are fully suspended. All right, so I finally got it where I wanted it to be, dumping in my oats, and I'm going to go ahead and hand stir them in. I have stick blended them in the past, and it does make them a little bit rougher and a little bit sharper, so I don't recommend doing the stick blend. You can just kind of easily incorporate quickly with a spatula or spoon or what have you. All right, so it looks like we are getting ready to do the pour. I'm going to bring my mold over, and then I'll bring you guys back for the cut. All right, so I let this soap set up for 48 hours, which was a little bit too long. It was too hard to cut, so note to self. But again, sometimes I swear it depends on the size of the moon and the position of the moon. Sometimes if you do 24 hours, it's just right. Sometimes if you do 24 hours, it's still a little soft. So what I've got to do here is unmold it, get it out of this mold, and then use a log splitter. So I'm going to cut the big slab into 2 pieces, and then I'm going to use my normal cutter to go ahead and cut it into bars. The cutting of this video is not super exciting because every bar basically looks the same, but I know everyone likes to see soap being cut. And I probably should have tipped this over. Just kind of got to pull it out. Sometimes soap making is not very graceful, especially when you're on camera. I could have cut this all out, but hey, this is the reality of doing bigger batches and using a log mold. But you can see it kind of when I lined it, it came out perfect. So very easy to do. And this is my old reliable log splitter set up to cut my loaf, exactly in half. And then I'm going to get 2 pieces out of that and then cut the rest.